learners, I am Dr. Shweta Tripathi, Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering, School of Engineering and Technology, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. I welcome you all in the MOOCs of Energy Resources and Conversion Process. In this module, we are going to discuss clean development mechanism. In our previous module, we have discussed what are the effect of energy resources on our environment, and in this regard we are going to discuss clean development mechanism today. The learning outcomes of this module is to understand CER, carbon trading, and to understand the mechanism of carbon trading. We will discuss the importance of Kyoto Protocol. We will discuss clean development mechanism, and you will be able to identify the benefits and risk of clean development mechanism, and you will be able to identify the potential of clean development mechanism in India. In our previous modules, we have discussed that the environment is degrading day by day due to the use of fossil fuels and various energy resources. And in this regard, we have discussed the global warming as well, and we have discussed that the climate is changing day by day. There is a rise in temperature, and since the late 1800s, this rise in temperature is about 0.6 degrees centigrade, and we are expecting that by 2100 this rise in temperature will be from 1.4 to 5.8 degrees centigrade. We have discussed what are the consequences of this rise in temperature, etc. What are the sources for this climate change, and the sources were greenhouse gases which are emitted from the combustion of fossil fuel and due to the forest clearing as well. And we have discussed that the impact of this climate change is evident from the extreme weather events, like there is storms, floods and droughts. We have seen that the sea level is rising, the agricultural yield is lowering. These are the impact of this climate change or rise in temperature, which we were calling as global warming. And we have seen that this global warming, that is the changes to the natural greenhouse effect, are a result of man-made emissions of these greenhouse gases. And what were these greenhouse gases? Carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, hydrofluorocarbons, perfluorocarbons, sulfur, hexafluoride. And we have seen that the human activities are increasing the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, and it enhances the greenhouse effect, and it is commonly known as climate change. Now, to see this climate change or to rectify this climate change, there is a certified emission reduction which we call CER. What the CER? It is given by the Clean Development Mechanism Executive Board to projects in developing countries to certify that they have reduced the greenhouse gas emissions by 1 ton of carbon dioxide per year. So generally this certified emission reduction or 1 CER is equivalent to 1 ton of carbon dioxide reduced. And what are the carbon credits? Actually what happens, this carbon emission, whatever emission of carbon is there, it is being traded as a commodity. So the carbon credits are the carbon which is being traded as a commodity. There are some voluntary and binding agreements to reduce this carbon emission, or we can say that greenhouse emissions. The other greenhouse emissions are also measured in the term of carbon credit. Then we have certified emission reduction and audited credits as well. So what really are these carbon credits and what does clean development mechanism mean? We will discuss it further. So, this certified emission reduction is a primary unit of measurement of the carbon reduced by the project, and these projects are given by the Executive Board of Clean Development Mechanism. This we have discussed. We have also discussed that certification means that by some project, or if there is a project which has managed to reduce 1 ton of carbon dioxide equivalent per year, it will mean it has earned 1 CER or 1 certified emission reduction. So, approximately the price of a 1 CER is in the range of $10 to $35, which depends upon the trading exchange and market conditions as well. So, to earn this carbon certified emission reduction, we have Kyoto Protocol. What is Kyoto Protocol? It is an international agreement agreed at the third conference of parties to the UNFCCC, which was held in December 1997 in Kyoto, Japan, and it was in order to reduce the worldwide emissions of these greenhouse gases. The aim of this Kyoto Protocol was to reduce the overall greenhouse gas emission by at least 5.2% below, which was in 1990 level, and the commitment period was in this conference of party, third conference of party was given. The year 2008 to 2012 was the commitment period in which we have to achieve this reduction of overall greenhouse gas emissions. So, in order to achieve this target, in order to reduce this greenhouse gas emission, some mechanisms were supplemented, and there were 3 mechanisms established to supplement national actions to achieve real, long term and cost effective greenhouse gas reduction, and it was in a measurable quantity term. We have measured it. All the greenhouse gases were measured in the terms of carbon credit. So, these 3 mechanisms are Clean Development Mechanism, Joint Implementation and International Emission Trading. The first 2 mechanisms, that are Clean Development Mechanism and Joint Implementation, were relevant to Annex 1 and Annex 2 countries, and the third one, that is International Emission Trading, is relevant to developing countries only. We will discuss further what are Annex 1 and Annex 2 countries and how these mechanisms were useful. So, basically, what are Annex 1 and Annex 2 countries? The parties which are the part of UNFCCC are classified as Annex 1 countries and Annex 2 countries. Annex 1 countries are the industrialized countries and economies in transition, which are generally the Annex 1 countries. And in Annex 2 countries, these countries are the developed countries which pay for cost of developing countries. Developing countries means countries like India. So, 2 types of countries were there, Annex 1 and Annex 2 countries. Then if we say about if we discuss the history of this Kyoto Protocol, and we all know that Rio conference is very important, and it was entered into force on 21st March 1994, and there were 154 states who have signed this United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which we are referring as UNFCCC, and they have signed this in 1992, and this was entered in March 1994. In 1994, the second report of IPCC concluded that the balance of evidence suggests that there is a discernible the Kyoto Protocol was adopted in influence on global climate. In 1997, then what happened? We have given the industrialized countries a legal binding commitment to reduce their GHG emissions, because the emission was increasing gradually. So the industrialized countries were legally binded in the commitment. Then in 2000, the first credit for GHG emission reduction projects was finalized, and we have started giving credits to reducing this greenhouse gas emission, and these credits were in the terms of CER, certified emission reduction. Then in November 2001, the Kyoto Protocol, the operational details of the Kyoto Protocol was again discussed in a COP, Conference of Parties, 7th Conference of Parties, and these were finalized. Now what is CDM? In simple terms, if we say that Clean Development Mechanism is a greenhouse gas exchange program. Why exchange program? Because it is between two kinds of the countries. One who is giving the benefits of reducing the greenhouse emission, and another is paying for the pollution which that country is generating. So the theory behind this Clean Development Mechanism is that the atmosphere is equally polluted by greenhouse gas emissions wherever they come from, and equally benefits from greenhouse gas cuts wherever they come from. So what is net effect? If a company cannot control its pollution, it can buy some amount of clean credits from the country or from someone who has worked hard to cut down pollution. That means one who will pollute or the polluter will have to pay, and the one who is controlling its pollution will get some credit and will get some money. Hence, we have companies which are bound to Kyoto Protocol buying carbon credits from organizations which invest in developing Clean Development Mechanism projects. This Clean Development Mechanism projects, actually it allows entities in Annex 1 countries who have ratified the Kyoto Protocol to invest in projects that reduce greenhouse gases in non-Annex 1 countries while contributing to sustainable development as well. By investing in non-Annex 1 countries, investors from Annex 1 countries can earn carbon certified emission CERs, certified emission ratings, that can be used to meet greenhouse gas reduction under the Kyoto Protocol. So the companies pay cash, organizations give certified carbon credits. So the one who will pollute will pay the cash to the companies who have certified these carbon credits in terms of CERs, and the organizations who have these certified carbon credits will give some of their this carbon credit to the country that is purchasing the carbon credit from that particular country. This is the whole mechanism behind this Clean Development Mechanism. The goals of this Clean Development Mechanism is to help mitigate climate change and to help non-Annex 1 countries to achieve sustainable development, and to help Annex 1 countries attain their emission reduction commitments. So what is the CDM project cycle? Actually, first step towards it is the awareness. awareness of reducing the greenhouse gases. Then comes the creation, how we could do that. Then is the registration of this project, and then there is identification. We have to identify the certain areas where we are going to implement this project and we will obtain the carbon credits. Then comes the project design phase. In this phase, we have to design the project in such a manner that we are going for a sustainable energy source. We are developing a sustainable energy source which will help us to mitigate the emissions, greenhouse gas emissions as well. Then we will implement it. Then the documentation of the project will be there, in which we will claim that how much carbon credits we are earning, how much greenhouse gases are reducing through this project. Then the monitoring and reporting of the project will be there. Then a validation will be there. It is not that we are saying that we are saving this much amount of money and that is saved, how it is saving, so we have to validate it also. Suppose I am saying that from this using the biofuel or biodiesel, we are reducing this much amount of carbon dioxide. So we have to validate it that earlier with diesel the carbon dioxide emission was this much, and by using the biofuel the mitigation or the reduction of the carbon dioxide emission is this much, and whatever reduction is there, in how much time, in how much year, how much I am going to get that carbon credit. I have to give a validation for that. Then the verification will be there, someone will be there to verify that whatever I am claiming is correct or not, and then I will get a certificate, and that will be the certification. So this is the whole project cycle of a clean development mechanism project. One of the key factors for approval of a clean development mechanism project is the additionality constraint and additionality emissions. Kyoto Protocol specifies that emission, CER or carbon reductions are only to be certified under credits, the clean development mechanism, if they are additional to any that would occur in the absence of the certified project activity. So on the basis of these key factors, the CDM projects are generally approved. What are the prerequisites of a clean development mechanism project? As we have discussed, the additionally constraint, it means to be hosted by a non-Annex 1 country like India, which meets some basic constraints, that is, it will adhere to UNFCCC conventions. Whatever the framework is laid down by UNFCCC, we have to follow those conventions. Then establish a designated national authority. There should be some national authority, designated national authority, which will say that yes, this project is going in a right manner, it is following the rules, it is following the mechanism, it is the rules are laid down in a manner to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions, and yes, it is contributing in a sustainable energy development as well. Then the co-development by host country and an annex country, the validation by a designated operational entity, that is DOE, Department of Energy, and meeting the CDM requirements, that is the clean development mechanism requirements. Then registration with the CDM executive board, post review to ensure compliance, and then verified and certified, it should be verified and certified by the DOE as resulting in real, additional, verifiable and measurable emission reductions after commissioning of operations. So these are some of the prerequisites which are required for the initiation of the clean development mechanism project. Then the roadmap for managing carbon assets. First is the credit based emission reduction project. In this, what happens, we have to identify first the opportunities. For example, we can switch the fuel, we can switch for the fuel like hydrogen where there is no hydrocarbon emission. We may switch for the fuels like ethanol which are consuming the carbon dioxide that they are releasing for the growth of the biomass. We can switch to the renewable energies, that is, we can switch for the solar energy, we can switch for the wind energy where there is no emission. So, first is to identify the opportunities, how we are going to get either by switching the fuel or by switching the energy source. Then comes the Q2 projects, that is the clean development mechanism. It should be bilateral and multilateral schemes. Then the trade, bank or retail credits. So, first is this. Then comes the to commit to an emission target. In this, what we have to do? First, we have to determine the emissions inventory. How much emission is there? Then we have to set a scope that how much greenhouse gas emission we are going to reduce either directly or indirectly. So, there should be some set scope or set targets that we are going to do to achieve this. Then comes the emission trading, how much emissions we are going to trade. Then comes we have to define the measurement and reporting domestic or international, that is whatever is the protocol we have to follow. So, in this what we have to do? First we have to establish a robust internal data controls and then we have to do the verification independently. Then the fourth is to identify and implement internal reduction measures. In this, what we have to do? We have to do energy efficiency improvements. We have to follow the energy conversion methods which are more efficient. We have to technically we have to use the apparatus which are more efficient. The energy conversion is more there. We have to reduce the steps of the energy conversion process in order to increase the or enhance the energy efficiency or improve the energy efficiency. Then we have greenhouse gas abatement, that is we have to switch to such energy source which has a low carbon. So, we have to identify a low carbon alternative or low carbon renewable energy sources and we have to go for it. And then we have to control the losses, for example methane losses etc. We have to control them. Then where is this CDM applicable? Is it applicable in all the fields? No. It is applicable to the field where we are going to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. How it could be achieved? It could be achieved either by switching the fuel, we could go for the hydrogen, we could go for the CNG, we could go for the biomethane. Then it means we have to go from fossil fuel to the greener fuel. Then we have to go from the petroleum to bioenergy. We have to go for the biodiesel, biofuel, etc. Then energy efficiency. How we could do it? The energy efficiency measures such as will be related to in waste management. We have to generate energy from the waste. Then we could go for the boilers, we could invest in the waste to energy projects, we could invest in the pumps, we could invest in the utilization of waste and wastewater, we could invest in turbine emission for generation of energy. So, in these fields the CDM is applicable generally. We could have efficient cooling system for captive power generation in power sector. In transport sector also we could go. We have we could go for the new efficient generation technique, fuel switching from gasoline. We could go for the reduction in technical losses, that is from when we are switching for diesel to natural gas. We could go for the carbon dioxide sequestration as well. Then we can replace the transportation by switching from coal to other fuels. We could go for the renewable energy such as wind power, solar, biomass, hydel power, etc. So these are the fields where the clean development mechanism is applicable. Then costs that are involved in this activity, CDM activity. So first, the cost is available in the project development and implementation cost is there. Then the transaction cost is there. Transaction cost includes consultant cost, registration with designated natural authority, then the validation and monitoring fee to designated operational authorities such as DOE, etc. Then we have to give issuance fee to CER, then the contribution to UNFCCC adaptation fund, then 2% of the CERs will be deducted adaptation fund by CDM executive board as well. So these are the costs that are involved in this CDM activity. Then what is the benefit of this CDM to Annex 1 countries? In Annex 1 countries, it benefits in the reduction in overall emission mitigation cost, flexibility in meeting emission reduction commitment, and the investment opportunities are there. Then the benefits to the developing countries or Annex 2 countries: additional financing for sustainable development projects in the country, technology transfer and development. It helps in mitigating local environment pollution, and the jobs and infrastructure for development opportunities are there. Then what are the risks and critics in it? Critics for this clean development mechanism: future is uncertain, mere interest shown by government in developing its own CDM projects, proving additionality difficult in some cases, carbon credits being traded as financial instruments which give provision to misuse the intention behind clean development mechanism, and the development countries being let off by paying money to clean up their footprint if we go for the wider picture. Then what are the carbon trading potential? As carbon has become a tradable commodity, the carbon market is growing rapidly, and so are the opportunities. The credits from the CDM and joint implementation accounted for 226 million tons in the first half of 2007. The overall emission gap of Japan, Canada and the old European Union member countries for the period of 2008 to 12 will be more than 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. Russia and the countries of the Eastern Europe have a surplus of several billion tons. If Russia acts sensibly, CDM market could be about 2 billion euros or rupees 10,000 crores. Already more than 600 million euros have been committed by government buyers. Then what are the potential of CDM in India? It is a major milestone in India. India has signed Kyoto Protocol in December 1997 and ratified in August 2002. COP8 was hosted by India, which established National CDM Authority in December 2003. National Strategy Study was carried out in March 2005, and the first project from India was registered in October 5. The first project was received CERs of 15%. India, China, Brazil, Mexico, Malaysia, Philippines, South Korea, etc. are contributing some of the percentage of CDM projects by the country. Steady developments in last 50 years of independence from 3.5% GDP growth to 5.5 or 6. Economic growth is accompanied by an increasing per capita income and changes in lifestyles with an effect on the energy demand as well. The key issues which have energy implications are rising population using commercial energy, need for economic growth, access to adequate commercial energy supplies, rational energy pricing regime, improvements in energy efficiency, matching research and development base, and environmental protection. Benefits under CDM to India. India is the world's 6th largest CO2 emitter, although per capita emission is small compared to USA. CDM could help to overcome the financial constraints associated with the adoption of cleaner technologies. The analysis shows that the renewable energy technologies are among the low cost options for carbon mitigation, and the total greenhouse gas emission in India is estimated as 1235 million tons in 1995. So, this carbon dioxide generally contributes 63% for GHG emission and methane contributes for 36% of GHG. The potential CDM sectors in India are the power sector, the alternative energy source and efficiency improvement of existing plants could be done to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. Then renewable energy, we can switch over biomass, wind, solar and hydropower more. Oil and gas, we have to go for the fuel switching. For example, we can go for the hydrogen, we can go for the biodiesel, we can go for the ethanol, we can go for the biomethane, and we have to follow or we have to use the fuel which has high conversion efficiency, and we have to develop such technology which will give the high conversion efficiencies for the fuels like hydrogen, biodiesel, ethanol, etc. Then industrial sector. In industries, we could follow the various energy conservation measures to reduce the emissions, to reduce the wastage of energy, to utilize energy and to increase the energy efficiency. In transportation sector, we could do it by switching the fuel. Let us summarize whatever we have discussed today. We have discussed CER, what it is and how it is achieved. We have discussed the Kyoto Protocol. We have discussed clean development mechanism, how the clean development projects are undertaken, how they are implemented, what are the benefits of these CDMs, what is the risk of CDM and what is the potential of CDM in India. Thank you very much.